Yeah, it feels like a long time ago since I saw Pokemon Concierge at like some Pokemon presentation. I imagine it was like the 2023 one. And I think at the time, I don't know whether I praised it or what, but like my view of it was that like I didn't want to get Netflix. I had no idea what this thing was. I was too busy at the time to really watch something like it. I definitely always appreciate Pokemon doing like these kind of animation projects, but like at the time I didn't watch it, didn't know anything about it, don't know anybody who watched it. And yeah, as it turns out, I got a Netflix subscription, and the very first thing that I decided to watch all the way through was Pokemon Concierge, right? That is to be expected because I did get I did sign up specifically for this. You know, like someone mentioned that like he had watched it, and so like I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, that exists. Let's check it out. Yeah. The Pokemon presentation this year announced that they would have a second season. So I thought that like, oh yeah, let's go ahead, check this thing out, see what it is. And over the past day, I've watched the entire thing. Now, that's not saying a whole lot because it's like 4 episodes long, and they're not even like a full 23 minutes. Like episode 3 is like 14 minutes long. And I enjoyed every moment of it. And I'm not quite sure why. Like, this show is so comfy and so good at just being this kind of like wholesome, chill, just laid back experience that like I was super engrossed in it. Like it's kind of like how people like say what Studio Ghibli films are like, except like way done way better with like way better animation and characters. Because this show does a really good job at introducing characters, introducing like core conflicts, and just making you feel like super invested in what's going on, even though it's like relatively straightforward and kind of basic, right? And that is kind of like, I think a really valid criticism you could have of the show, right? There is no real plot. It's just Haru going out there and like being a concierge at this resort, but like it works so well, right? Like it does such a great job just setting up the character, her personality, and then kind of like just showing her fulfilling her role at the resort, right? Like, it felt kind of like what I went through over the past 5 years, leaving that traumatizing job, getting the new one, and like slowly rebuilding my life after like, an absolute train wreck of like, what came before it, right? Like it really does remind me of that in that way. It came off as like very relatable, like how Haru really struggles like adapting to a more normal work environment, right? How she learns like how important it is to have fun and stuff like that. It all comes off really organic without feeling preachy, like that's a really good thing about this show. I think is that like it feels like something that people actually go through, and I really applaud the Pokemon Company for like producing something like this, because this is clearly something that I don't think is targeted towards kids. Like it's a Pokemon product, but like I feel like it's geared more towards like older adult fans, because it just has the kind of vibe that just appeals more to like a more mature, sophisticated. It's kind of like how I feel about Spy Family, where like a lot of people will like cope and seethe about it and try to say that like it's not very good, or that there are better series out there, that it doesn't really like fulfill its concept very well, but like they don't really understand what makes it appealing, right? They don't understand why Spy Family is good. In their minds, like Chainsaw Man is better because, like, ooh, it's dark and Denji struggles. But like, the reality of the situation is that like Chainsaw Man is immature and doesn't really have a nuanced like perspective on like how to grow and like develop the characters and the setting, right? Like it's just edgy bullshit for the sake of edgy bullshit. Right, as opposed to something like this, which like knows exactly what it wants to be, how to present it, and how I think most interestingly, like how to animate this, because like I believe this is like entirely a stop motion animated show, so like you get all these really gorgeous like character models and sets. Like they all look great, they all move great. Like you just get like a lot of a huge sense of what life in this resort is like. Like my real big complaint about this, like going like just watching season one, is that like there aren't enough episodes. Like I really do think like they should have had like two or four more. I think like like there are like very few Pokemon in this, and like you get a pretty cool like variety of them. Like you see like uh Pokemon like the Monkey Trio. You get like Metagross. You get Snorlax, the Den, Dragonite, Skiploom, right? You get like a wide range of Pokemon, from a wide range of different generations. That doesn't seem to favor like any particular gen much. I mean, you do see a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon, but like that's pretty typical for the brand. But um I really do think like this is a really good example of why Pokemon has like endured over the past several decades. While stuff like that, like I also really like Digimon, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade, like all of these like other franchises that had like similar premises, came from the same part of the world, had like similar audiences. I've kind of like not really reached the same level of popularity because like Pokemon understands how to appeal to people in a way that like no other brand can match, right? For something like Digimon, it kind of emphasizes on the fantasy of like saving the world, the digital world, and stuff like that, as opposed to Pokemon, where like it always very strongly emphasized like normal people and all the situations that they get into, right? There is no save the world plot in Concierge, and honestly, like I kind of think that is a defining reason why Pokemon as a brand is so iconic, because you can imagine, no matter your situation in life or how old you are or what situation you're in, like you can imagine yourself in the Pokemon setting and experiencing all this like idyllic, just gorgeous, this big fantastical world for yourself. And everyone has their own perspective on that, right? For me, I don't know like how much other people would relate to Haru and like what she's going through and like her problems and stuff like that. I thought it was very relatable, and that's a big reason why I personally thought this show was fantastic. So going into season two, I really just want to see more. Like, I don't know if they're gonna like do more of the same, if they're gonna radically switch it up. I imagine it's gonna be more of the same. But like, yeah, I would be really happy with that. I am very interested in seeing just how long this continues and if it like results in any kind of like meaningful conclusion. Because you can call me a fan.